So last time we had just started the kind of passionate questioning Savitri's mother was making with Narad. It is perfectly understandable that she should be deeply hurt with life. She has been doled out something which is too heavy for a mortal to bear, and she is going to question every kind of step which is being taken in this creation, whether it is by God, by somebody, or somebody is immaterial for her. And she is, as I said last time, asking Narad the seer. So she is expecting an answer from the seer, not from a philosopher, not from a scientist, not from a metaphysician, not for a rational mind being like that. She is expecting an answer from a seer. In other words, as far as she is concerned, she has no issue about the rational mind. She doesn't care about that. Why this, that is, it is. Although she might put like that, she is not haunted, perturbed by the worries or by the processes of the rational mind. She wants to know the true truth behind the whole process. What is it there actually which is causing all the difficulties? She wants to know the occult meaning, occult depth of this creation's problem. And it is that she is kind of asking Narad to tell her. And she is formulating the question in the manner of a thinker, logician. Systematically, she is arguing every aspect of it. Not only she is organizing her thought and putting the question, she is in the process tracing the entire history of this creation. This is what has happened, this is what has happened, this is what happened all along in this world. Not history in terms of the normal history we talk of, but the occult aspects of the history through which the whole process is going, through which time is moving. It is the history of time that is what she is talking, not the history of events. Not the history of event, but history of time. That is what she is basically asking there. And of course, the right person to answer is the seer for that kind of a thing, you see. Seer, history of time, because Narad had a vision of all the three divisions of time. He knows the past, he knows the present, he knows the future. He has the Trikala Drishti, and therefore it is a time vision which he can reveal to the human soul. A human soul which is ready to receive that knowledge. In other words, we could as well say that itself speaks very highly about the spiritual status of the queen, of Savitri's mother. She is asking something of a very occult kind, of a very deep kind of the history of time, and unless there is something within you like that, you won't ask that kind of a question, you see. So, first thing she is asking, of course, she is starting about this tri-natured life. That has been her opening argument. Why this strange earth? Why there is that conflicting situation of death and life, of falsehood and truth, of pain and joy? Why? So, where from this has happened? Now, error and truth, virtue and sin. All these things are there, although they may look to a certain extent ethical questions, religious questions, but they are not purely ethical or purely religious questions also. Why evil and good? It is not an ethical question she is asking. She is asking the very foundation of things on which everything is happening here around. And then of course we saw necessity, chance, free will, those questions she was asking about that thing. Or she is saying if it is not this, if it's not this, if not this, then was there a disastrous power that intervened and gave rise to this tri-natured nature life here? This duality of evil and good, is it because of some disastrous power? Everything was meant to be good, but then something is intervened, some disastrous power. How it managed to intervene, that is another issue. But it has managed, and therefore it has given rise to this conflicting situation. And then, of course, she says, a fatal seed was sown in life's false start. That is how the duality arose of evil and good and all that. And then, as a result of that fatal seed, of that false start, what has happened is, the first thing which has happened is, appeared the malady of mind, the questioning mind, the doubting mind, the analytical mind, trying to understand things only in segments, in measures, not in the totality of it. That is the malady of mind. It cannot comprehend the totality. It will try to cut into bits whatever knowledge is given and try to understand bit by bit. And that is the analytical method of the mind. Wherefrom it has arisen. Pang of thought is quest for the aim of life. It stands for of mind. Mind is definitely a quester. He is in search of knowledge and truth and all that thing. But its method is fragmentation. Its method is fragmentation, analytical, cutting up into bits like that. And then, as a result of that mind, it is when the mental being arrived on the evolutionary scene, when the mental being arrived on the evolutionary scene, then came into existence good and ill. In the pure world of life, that conflict does not arise. That conflict arises only with the arrival of mind, good and ill. As I told you, life by itself has no problem at all. It lives happily, you see. Life lives on life and it progresses on that basis. Life lives on life. A small creature is swallowed by a bigger creature, and that is how life lives also. You start with a plankton and then build up all the way the entire hierarchy of the life world, you see. It builds upon that thing, you see. And what is sort of swallowed by life, that itself, in a certain sense, feels happy that it is becoming a part of a larger life. What is small is becoming a part of a larger life. A deer is eaten by a lion. The lion is, of course, a greater life than a deer, and the deer feels happy that it has become a part of a greater vital force, like that, you see. So life lives on life. The Upanishadic phrase is eater eating is eaten. Eater eating is eaten. We are eater, we are eating, he himself is then eaten. A small person who is eating, he himself is getting eaten also. Eater eating is eaten. And that is how the life builds up, you see. Yeah. And and that is what, in fact, there is a big chapter on that in the life divine. In the life divine, there is a big chapter on that. Eater eating is eaten. You see? Yeah. Life divine is there. Yeah. Yeah. That is the law of life. That is the way of the progress of life. So, the good and evil come with mind, not for that, you see. Follow the zigzag of the uncertain course of life that wanders seeking for its aim. In other words, first came mind, then it divided life into good and ill, and then life followed the zigzag of the uncertain course of mind, because mind is not sure of that. And life that wanders seeking for its aim. Mind is the guide, is the lamp for life to move into darkness. And therefore, life that wanders seeking for its aim in the pale starlight falling from the thoughts skies. So, with the help of mind, thought, life tries to make progress, you see. It guides the unsure idea, the wavering will. Lost body. Now, as a result of that thing, what happened? When life accepted the guidance of mind, she cannot but accept that. When mind entered into the picture, life was led by mind, and then as a result of that, the native instinct of life was lost. Lost was the instinct's safe identity. Life lost its own native instinct. What does that mean? See, it's like saying this one. You have got grass, and there are all kinds of grasses there. Now, a cow, when it is grazing, it will avoid certain grasses because it knows that they are poisonous. The poison grass, it will avoid eating those things. Now, where from that knowledge has come? It is native instinct. It is the life instinct to avoid this or avoid that thing. That knowledge is not analytical mind which is given to the cow and all that. It is the native instinct of life itself which will avoid. No, this is not good for my system. Let me avoid this like that. It goes on. So, and therefore, life lost for the instinct safe identity with the arrow point of being's inmost sight, marred the sure steps of nature's simple walk. So nature was moving slowly, gradually in its own harmony and all that thing in the absence of mind. But mind came and then all the conflicts began. You started rationalizing, you are starting arguing, this is why like that, why that is like this, etc., etc. All those things are happening here. And truth and freedom in the growing soul. Out of some ageless innocence and peace, life was somewhere else without demanding of time, ageless. And it was the privilege of souls not betrayed to birth. They have not taken the birth. They were happy there, innocent, joyous, happy, very peaceful, quiet. But then they decided to plunge into this dangerous earth for whatever reason be. And our life was born in the pain and the cry. In other words, she is asking the question, all right, my soul up there in the heavens is always blissful and quiet and happy and peaceful and all that thing. There are no conflicts, there is no question of ill and good and all that kind of a thing. It was happy there, but somehow it decided to take the birth. Privilege of souls not yet betrayed to birth. That was the peace of the birth, you see. Cast down to suffer on this hard, dangerous earth. It volunteered to come to this dangerous earth. And in that process, what happened? That soul is now suffering, suffering with pain and cry. So the first thing which has happened here, the soul which is happy there, when it has plunged down into this one, the first thing which has happened is that the birth of pain. After pain, then came joy. First was born pain, then joy. Caste life was born in pain and with a cry. Although earth nature welcomes heaven's breath, yes, that greater life, that nobler life, that happier life, ageless life is most welcome by earth. And she wants that life to be here. For what? To inspire matter with a will to live. Matter which is lifeless, to make it living. It is for that purpose she called down the life force. She called down the life force. And with that, what happened? The moment life entered into matter, 1,000 ills assailed the mortal's hour. Suddenly, 1,000 ills had taken me. And wear away the natural joy of life. So the natural joy of life which was there, that has disappeared because of that. And our bodies are an engine cunningly made. So this is what has happened to life when life entered. Actually, there is a very beautiful description in Canto 3 of the second book, The Glory and Fall of Life. The Glory and Fall of Life. To begin with, there was no life and only there were material objects on the earth, only matter. This solid mass, which broke no throb of sense, means no life, could not contain their vast creative urge. Even in matter, there was an urge, a kind of an aspiration to grow. For what? Immersed no more in matter's harmony, the spirit lost its statuous repose. And then, in the uncaring trance, it groped for sight. Matter itself is groping for sight. Passion for the movements of a conscious heart, famishing for speech and thought and joy and love. In the dumb, insensitive, willing day and night, hungered for the beat of yearning and response. That is the aspiration of matter. Matter is aspiring for that, you see. And then what happens? A voice was heard on the mute rolling globe 13. 136:13. A voice was heard on the mute rolling globe in the material world. A murmur moved in the listening void. A being seemed to breathe where once was none. Means the whole thing was a void. Life was not there, but there appeared a kind of a being there in void. Something pent up in dead insentient depths, denied conscious existence, lost to joy, turned as if one asleep since dateless time. So matter was lying asleep all along for dateless time, since the beginning it means. Aware of its own buried reality, yet it is aware that there is something deeply buried in it, reality. Remembering its forgotten self and right, it yearned to know, to aspire, to enjoy, to live. So that is the basic aspiration in matter itself present. And then that is aspiration from matter. And then what happened? Life heard a call and left her native light. So that is the response life has met. She heard a call from material objects and she responded to that call. Overflowing from her bright, magnificent plane on the rigid coil and sprawl of mortal space. Here too, the gracious, great winged angel poured. So she is an angel. She's coming down here and she's pouring all her joy, beauty, love, happiness all around you see. That is how she comes here. Hoping for what? Hoping to fill a fair new world with joy, which was not there in matter. She was expecting that everything will become joyous. And then further down, alive and clad with trees and herbs and flowers, Earth's great brown body smiled toward the skies. So what was lifeless, it has suddenly become full of trees, life, aspiring for that thing. Earth's great brown body smiled toward the sky. Azure replied to azure, in the sea's love. New sentient creatures filled the unseen depth, life's glory and swiftness ran in the beauty of beasts. Yeah, even the animals, there is a kind of glory and swiftness in that place. Man dared and thought and met with his soul the world. It came all the way up to man, that life received. But so she comes in response to the call from below, from matter. But what happens then? But while the magic breath was on its way, while she's coming down on its way, before the gifts could reach our present hearts, a dark, ambiguous presence questioned all. There is something which arose from below and challenged life. Who are you to enter into this material world? Who are you? She is challenged by a dark, ambiguous presence. In other words, the entry of life into matter meets the response from below in the form of death. Death is a dark, ambiguous presence. Death appears at that point. There is no death before the appearance of life. When life enters into matter, suddenly something arises from below and challenges life, and it is the challenge of life, challenge of death, which life has to meet now. You see, the secret will that robes itself with night. Who is that ambiguous presence? It is the will of somebody else who is in the night. The secret will that robes itself with night, means the Supreme Himself who has taken the garb of the night. It is He who is challenging life. He Himself is challenging that form and offers to spirit the ordeal of the flesh, impose a mystic mask of death and pain. So that is the way life meets the challenge from below. In other words, the moral is, yes, matter has an aspiration. Matter is yearning for life and happiness and progress and growth and all that. And the first thing which comes in response to that is life. It is life who answers. The moment life enters into matter, she meets the challenge from the dark night below in the form of death. And now from this point onward, death is sort of controlling life. And death is moving forward, so to say, also because of life. Now, the problem is, if life can be overpowered by death, naturally all these issues will arise. Pain, suffering, misery, whatnot, whatnot, whatnot. Because life can be overpowered by a presence. In other words, life is not a force which is strong enough to encounter any opposition that may arise from below. Life is not in a position, cannot. Same way, later on, when mind enters into life and matter, mind is also not in a position to change things, because again the dark force is there from below which will overpower even mind. The only thing which cannot be overpowered is supermind. Only when supermind would enter into matter, no opposition will be there at all. You see, it cannot be opposed by anybody at all. It will overpower itself. That is the decisive thing which will happen. So first, life enters, it gets overpowered. Mind enters, it also gets overpowered. So the solution is not there at the stage of life or mind. The solution is only in supermind. When supermind enters, there cannot be any opposition at all. So the question arises, then why all this? Why can't the supermind himself directly descend? Why through life, through mind? Why? You see, why all that? You see, why can't supermind directly descend and forget about all these difficulties? We'll be safe also. Yeah, it's much easier also. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But there is a certain wisdom that it cannot be so. The power, the intensity, the strength of supermind is such that if it enters directly into matter, matter will get simply smashed. It will simply get smashed. It will not be able to bear the direct presence of supermind. And therefore, a kind of a preparation has to go. And that preparation is through life, through mind. So, material base is built up gradually for the supermind to be born easily enough by the lower creation. So until then, the whole purpose will lost. If supermind comes directly into matter, then if it gets crushed, then the whole purpose is lost. So it has to go logically through those stages. Life must enter in, mind must enter in, build up gradually the base, up, so to say. And then supermind can overtake and take control. In other words, it's a long preparation. It's a long preparation. But it is a long, necessary preparation. It cannot avoid it. So she is arguing the same manner here to some extent. Although earth nature welcomes heaven's breath, life came, yeah, inspiring matter with the will to live. 1,000 ills assailed the mortal's hours because a dark, ambiguous presence questioned her arrival. A dark, ambiguous presence questioned her arrival. And where away the natural joy of life? Naturally, the joy is gone. Our bodies, so this is life. Then what happens to our body? Our bodies are an engine cunningly made, but for all its parts as cunningly are planned, contrived ingeniously with demon skill. See, the skill of a demon itself is used in building up our body, which is very true, very elaborate, very detailed, very accurate also. So he is playing a good role that we see. It's apt inevitable heritage of mortal danger and peculiar pain. So as a result of that, what happens? It has to inherit danger and pain. It has to inherit. It's payment of the tax of time and pain. I must pay for that if I want to change. It's way to suffer and it's way to die. That's the only way by which it can progress. Unless that payment is made, there cannot be any progress at all, you see. This is the ransom of our high estate. High estate, yes, we are in possession of the glories of heaven. Splendors of heaven are there in our possession. But we cannot claim those splendors unless we pay this ransom, this amount. We are captives here in a way and we have to pay that thing, you see. A payment has been made to claim our high estate. We are coming from the supernal realms, but we cannot claim them here unless we make the payment for that. The sign and stamp of our humanity. Yes, humanity has to pay that ransom for its high estate, its glory, its supernal grandeurs. If they have to be a part of life here, you have to make a price. And then she says, a grisly company of maladies come. So horrible creatures, everybody, all kinds of creatures come. Licensed lodgers, we have given license to be there with us. We are allowing them to stay in our house. Into man's bodily house. So all kinds of ills are there in our bodily house. Purveyors of death and torturers of life. Purveyors of death. Who are these purveyors? These lies, those who are residing in us, those creatures, they are purveyors. Purveyors means suppliers. They supply, give provisions to death. Purveyor actually is basically the supplier of the king, royal supplier, whatever goods he wants for his kitchen, for his household, etc., etc., the purveyors make the supplies of those things, you see. So these are residing in us and they are supplying their goods. So they are doing their job. Is the purveyors of death and torturers of life. In the malignant hollows of the world, in a subconscious cavern passages, ambushed, they lie waiting their hour to leap. So they are waiting there and they will immediately pounce at the opportune moment. The moment they find suitable, they will bounce upon you. Surrounding with danger, they see the city of life admitted into the citadel of man's day. So we have built a big fort, but then they are waiting for a weak moment also. And the moment you find something weak there, they will rush upon you. They mine his force. So they put mines and they want to blow up the whole fort, obviously, and maim or suddenly kill. They are there sitting in us. All kind of agencies and agents are present in us. Jealousy, hatred, anger, lust, greed, all these things are there. They are kind of agents, subconscious agents residing in us all the while, and they are the purveyors of death. They are waiting there all the while. Ourselves within us, lethal forces nurse. Ourselves within us, lethal forces nurse. Yes, we house them in us. We entertain them. We give them good meals also, you see. And it happens all the while. We make of our own enemies our guests. You don't realize that thing, you see. Out of their holes, like beasts, they creep and gnaw. The chords of the divine musician's lyre. So the lyre is there and the chords are there. They come and keep on eating the strings themselves. So what music can you play on that thing, you see? No. The chords of the divine musician's lyre, till frayed and thin, the music dies away. So they'll keep on eating the chords, and then the music will die away with that. Or crashing snaps with a last tragic note. So, so the why will snap, give the last tragic note, finish. Somehow it will get cut and finish, you see. So she is a very well-versed musician. She is a player of stringed instrument, this lady, and she is giving a very elaborate description of that. All that we are is like a fort beset. So we are living in a house which is well guarded, ramparts are there, but what happens? All that we try to be art is like a dream in the grey sleep of matter's ignorance. So we live only in the ignorance of matter and suffer for all that. Mind suffers, lame by the world's disharmony and the unloveliness of human things. So the cause of mind suffering is disharmony and unloveliness. That's the cause of mind suffering. Mind suffers because of disharmony and because of unloveliness of human things. Because of that. A treasure misspent or cheaply, fruitlessly sold the bazaar of blind destiny. A treasure. What is the treasure? The mind. The mind. What? The gift which the mind has brought. Where we use? We spend very cheaply in the bazaar, in the marketplace. We buy small petty things with that treasure. A gift of priceless values from time's gods. That should have been our case, you see. Lost or misled in an uncaring world. Lost or misled in an uncaring world. Life is a marvel, missed, an art gone awry. I'm sorry, this treasure is life. Yeah. Yeah, this mind is over in the previous sentence. He is now talking of life. A treasure misspent, that is life. Yeah, not mind, life. Yeah. Is a marvel missed, an art gone awry. A seeker in a dark and obscure plain, an alarmed warrior facing dreadful odds. an imperfect worker given a baffling task. Yes, she is an imperfect worker, but she is given a big job, you see, baffling task. An ignorant judge of problems, ignorance made. Yes, ignorance has made the problem, but who is going to judge this ignorant life? His heavenward flights reach close and keyless gates. So the gates are there, heaven is there, but the key is not there. And the gates are closed, you see. It cannot reach, it cannot get into heaven, you see. Its glorious outburst peter out in mire. So what beautiful things life brings to us, finally they get dissipated and lost in its creation here. In other words, she is describing that all the gifts which have come to us, matters, aspiration, mind, life, what beautiful things they have come to us, on them a curse is laid. On nature's gifts to man a curse is laid. It happens there, it cannot be. Basically, this is what we are seeing here. When life entered into matter, an ambiguous presence questioned all from below. It arose and questioned, who are you to challenge my domain, to enter into my world? I am the Lord here in matter. You have no business to enter into this one at all. And she has to answer that thing, you see. So a curse is laid on that, you see. All walks in arm by its own opposites. So now he is going to give the list of opposites. All walks in arm, so they go together. What? Error is a comrade of thought. Our thought is accompanied by error. Falsehood accompanies truth, and falsehood lurks in the bosom of truth. So error, thought, falsehood, truth, sin, joy. Or leaves a red scar burned across the soul. So the soul itself has a scar on that. Virtue is the bondage and the jail. Virtue is a grave bondage and a jail. So this is the curse led by nature on the gifts received by man together. At every step is led for us a snare. Yes, we seem to get trapped from one place to the other place constantly, you see. We think that we are making progress, but we only find ourselves in another trap, in another trap, in another trap, you see. It goes on like that, you see. In fact, even the great achievements which we have made, they themselves become trapped. We get trapped in those achievements and forget to make progress. We feel happy, comfortable. Yes, capitalism, very good, very good, very good. But the ills of capitalism we forget. And they are bound to pounce upon you, if not today, tomorrow. You have got scientific theories. Now, scientific theories go on in a linear manner. So, Newton has discovered something. Now, on what Newton has discovered, it is on that other scientists keep on building. Later on comes an Einstein. He builds up something, he builds up something. Now, in other words, until that point, it is a trap. You are trapped in the Newtonian formulation. You are trapped in the Einsteinian formulation. You are trapped in the quantum mechanical formulation. It goes on. You are trapped there, you see. You are not able to think something differently than that, you see. Your process of thinking is kind of now governed by the environment in which you are living. You are trapped in that, you see. Now, for the sake of argument, you put for a moment, say, Einstein and Newton together as contemporaries. Newton has given his theory, Einstein also used his theory, both simultaneously at the same time. Now, you are not in a position to decide whether I should accept this or I should accept this, you see, because you are not really prepared for that. Your formulation, your method is that a theory can be accepted only if it can be empirically verified. When it can be experimentally established, then it is acceptable to me. So, at the time of Einstein, at the time of Newton, had Einstein given his theory, it would have been thrown away because there was no mechanism by which it could be proved, experimentally verified. And therefore, you get stuck with Newton. But that itself now leads you to more and more capabilities of devising instruments by which new ideas can be tested. So until then, you have remained in that particular trap. Until then. But had you started thinking simultaneously at that time, okay, I don't have any method of verifying Einstein's ideas today, does it mean that I cannot pursue something by which I can really look into those verifications directly? I am a lazy person. It is easy for me to verify Newton's ideas, and therefore I accept. I am not in a position to do some hard work and devise something, bring an experiment by which I can verify Einstein's ideas at the time. It means it is a kind of a mental laziness on my part, you see. Both the theories are there. I cannot verify this. I can verify that. Therefore, I am happy and I proceed along this line. It is a laziness. I am not really applying myself to verify this, it means, you see. So, we get trapped like that constantly throughout, you see. So, at every step is led for us a snare. So, all these ideas, Mayavad comes, and then illusionism comes, and Dvaitavad comes, and Advaitavad comes, duality, all kind of philosophies have been built up all along the course of time. We get trapped in them, you see, all along, you see. Alien to reason and the spirit's light, our fount of action from a darkness wells. That's the whole problem, you see. She has understood the whole problem of man, you see. She has very well understood. And ignorance and nations are our roots. She has really pinpointed the problem of human approach, human thought.
Do you imagine what destiny we have? Do you imagine what destiny we have?
Yeah.
We didn't do anything to get this.
Yes.
I mean, it's not our fault.
Well, but you are given the problem, so we are supposed to struggle for that and find an answer.
We are supposed, yes.
Yeah.
But we are very, very good because we accept this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. We accept that. Yeah, yeah. And as a result of that, then because we are in ignorance, then what happens? Then follows a growing register of calamity. So we keep on building up logbooks. Logbooks, now in fact logbooks are also over. We keep on building big computers to pile up all those things. You see, giga, tera memories or whatever you call it by it. A growing register of calamities is a past account. So this is what has happened all along the past, you see. And futures is the book of fate. We don't know what is going to happen. The centuries pile man's follies and man's crimes upon the countless crowd of nature's ills. So throughout the ages, what is happening? Ill, suffering, nature's ills. As if the world's stone load was not enough. So yes, there is a black load already on our head, but then on that we keep on piling more and more calamitous things all the while, you see. Is not enough. A crop of miseries obstinately is sown. So we have got the furrows, and in that furrow, what we do? We keep on sowing more and more miseries. We keep on putting more and more seeds of miseries all along. In other words, what actions we do today, they become our karmas, which we have to meet tomorrow. Our today's actions become our karmas, which we have to face tomorrow, you see. That is what we see. Crop of miseries we produce those things, you see. Yet is sown by his own hand in the furrows of the gods. You see, you are putting yourself all those things, you see. The vast increasing tragic harvest reaped from old misdeeds buried by oblivious time. The time has gone away into the past. Past is already there. Mean all our past karmas which are buried there, they are now showing up and influencing our action today. We are sufferers of karma. Or we can, in other words, say, everything is residing in our subconscious. We have not taken care of things which are there in our subconscious, and they will come and show up themselves at appropriate time. They will not allow you to escape easily. You have to really purify all the past, the subconscious, you see. From old misdeeds buried by oblivious time. So the karma, the law of karma is inescapable, you see that way. He walks by his own choice into his trap. So don't blame God or somebody. You are walking yourself into trap.
This because of the mantra.
After?
The mantra, the mind, when he came.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's man.
He obliged us to do this.
Yeah. And therefore say, this mortal creature is known worst foe. Yeah, you are your own enemy, you see. His science is an artificer of doom. Yes, we keep on inventing doom. Very skillful we are in creating our own doom. We create misfortunes for ourselves. We invite troubles by our own actions and our own thoughts. We invite troubles. We want to do good to somebody, but we don't know that we are really inviting harm, not only to us, but also for him. Very often, you see, it's a very wrong way. We think that we are helping him. On the contrary, we are perhaps creating more problems for him, you see. We don't know that. He slays his happiness and others' happiness, others' good, you see. Nothing has he learned from time and its history. So this is how she is tracing the entire achievement of man. See, yes, birth after birth, we have been doing the same thing again and again, and we have not learned any lesson at all, basically. Even as of old, in raw youth of time, when things had just started, even at that time, when earth ignorant ran on the highways of fate, all forms of evil cling to the world's soul. Yes, they will come, always remain clung to the soul. War making not the sweet smiling calm of life. Battle and rapine, ruin and massacre are still the fierce pastime of man's warring tribe. Yes, this goes on even today. Every day it is happening constantly. And there is not one period of history where this has not happened. There is not one place where this has not happened. It happens everywhere at every moment of time. Constantly is happening, you see. Battle and rapine, ruin and massacre. Today also is happening constantly, you see. Are still the fierce pastimes of man's warring tribe. So we are really tribal people, you see, quarreling. An idiot hour destroys what centuries made. We get possessed by some idiotic moment and the whole gain is lost. The whole gain is lost. There was a particular moment when we lent ourselves to the force of evil and it marched over the entire Europe in the Second World War. And when the danger was seen, when Paris was invaded in the Second World War by Hitler's army, suddenly it became such a thing that the entire course of history could be reversed by 50,000 years. 50,000 years. And Shiv Bandhu says, I cannot stop, I cannot remain away from that. He had to intervene in the Second World War and he started putting his force there. Paris shall be burned. The devil's dance, that is what the mother was saying in the Second World War. And then Shivananda started putting his force directly in the war at that time, you see. Battle and rapine, ruin and massacres are still the fierce pastimes of man's warring tribe. This is the picture of that. And you can know the Holocaust, the havoc of the Holocaust of that time. An idiot, however, destroys what centuries made. That would have really destroyed the entire civilization and put the clock back by 50,000 years. See? His wanton rage of frenzied hate lays low the beauty and greatness of his genius wrought and the mighty output of a nation's toil. So the whole nation is on the precipice now. You tumble into the abyss. State really that. All he has achieved, he drags to the precipice. So all the 2 millennia of civilizational progress will come to a stop at that particular immediate hour. All he has achieved, he drags to the precipice. His grandeur, he turns to an epic of doom and fall, epic of doom and fall. So all our great achievements, see, great glories of science, they are leading to what? Doom and fall. His littleness crawls content to squalor and mud. He calls heaven's retribution to his head. So we are inviting that thing on earth and wallows in his self-made misery. So this is what we are here, a part author of cosmic tragedy. So we cannot escape the blame which is due to on us. We are also accomplices in that cosmic tragedy. We are also part helping that tragedy. His will conspires with death and time and fate. This is what has happened all along, you see. So she is tracing the entire history of man's psychology. His brief appearance on the enigmatic earth ever recurs, but brings no high result to this wanderer to the aeon rings of God that shut his life in their vast longevity. His soul's wide search and ever returning hopes pursue the useless orbit of their course in a vain repetition of lost toil, in a vain repetition of lost toil across a tract of soon forgotten lives. All is an episode in a meaningless tale. So she is summarizing the entire history of mankind since the beginning of time in one particular sentence. All is an episode in a meaningless tale. It is a story which has no content, no meaning, no objective, no purpose at all. It is a meaningless tale. Why? Now she is questioning, why is it all and wherefore are we here? Yes, what are we here then for? She has described the entire history of mankind, the entire history of civilization, the entire history of evolutionary earth she has described. And then she is now questioning, what are we here for? Where from we have come? These are the direct. She has built up the whole background and presenting it to Narad. Look, this is what we are, this is what we have done, and how this has happened, where from, all this, what are we here for? She is asking. Now, we'll see some of these questions in more detail, but let us go back to something very interesting here, which is important also. She is presenting the picture of our history to Narad. And it is in that context she is seeking an answer from Narad. What is our purpose? What are we here for? Our history has been a very miserable history, not a very happy misery at all. It is not a tale worth recounting at all. It is good to forget about the whole thing, but it is so. But we are like that, so why it has happened? Why we have to undergo such a thing? Is it going to be so again and again in future also? Will there be an end to this? Or this will continue to repeat tomorrow also? Yes, this has been history. Will it also go on tomorrow also like that? She has a natural question there. Wherefore we are here? Where from we are here? Why? She's asking. Now, well, before we go further, she has pinpointed her question. She has given the entire essay of man's history in a very brief line. This is what here, and these are the problems. You please give the solution. Narad will offer his solutions, of course. I will give a little homework to you. In the background of this history, what will be your solution? You can give me next week as a homework. This is the situation, and this is what is going to happen here. So, all right, world is like that, etc., etc. What is your solution for that? It is a kind of a natural question. I would like to ask myself this question. It has been like that. I will get the answer from Narad perhaps, but assume that this is the situation given to you. Then how will you answer? As a little homework. Yeah. So that is important. But huh? No, why? Why? She's asking, is it going to be like that tomorrow also? Will it be like that again and again? It will repeat. Where is the end to that? What is the solution? And what I am saying, is it right or wrong? It is right. Then why? No, no, you have to find a solution. No, no, as I said, you have fallen into a trap.
But Narad, he will give her the explanation, not the solution.
No, he's going to give a solution also.
I read it.
Okay, all right. Okay, okay, okay. You also give your explanation. Yeah, yeah. You also give your explanation, then. Yeah. See, in fact, I will put it this way. I mean, if this is the story told to anybody, not necessarily who has read Savitri or anybody, this is the only part I am now projecting on the world screen. And then I am inviting all the thinkers, philosophers, metaphysicians or logicians or whoever you call it, the three people, and ask them, okay, please tell me what is the solution for that? What is your interpretation of that? How you are going to look into that problem? I would ask every philosopher. I would ask every philosopher, what is the solution? Narad will give you something of it. That we'll forget about it for the time being. Any leading philosopher, whether it is Plato or Planck or Kant or anybody, what is the solution? What is that you are offering to me for that? You see, Descartes, anybody, see, scientists, Newton, Einstein, yes, what is your solution? How you are looking at the problem? Please let me know. Your explanation of that. Are you really worried, concerned about these issues? If you are, then you have to have something in you to give an answer also. If you are not concerned, then ignore, forget about it, you see. Then, then ignore. I will ask for any philosopher, Bertrand Russell. I will ask him, okay, this is the thing, please let me know. What do you think of that, you see? Or Derrida, you see? No, this is the thing. Now, how you look at it? And if possible, can you offer a solution? She has prepared the entire essay as a kind of a test for you to answer. She has put the whole thing in a very succinct manner, the entire history of mankind and all that. So, if you are a real thinker, you are concerned about society, about the future and all that thing, you have to come out with an answer. A philosopher worth the salt. is solved, you see. Otherwise, no good, you see. Actually, a very similar situation arose, what we are talking here, arose in the case of Ashwapati also. Ashwapati. More or less, a very similar kind of an argument he has put forward, Ashwapati. When Ashwapati is having a rendezvous with the Divine Mother on the threshold mind, she is advising him, go slowly, go carefully, everything will be taken care of. Yes, time is bad, this thing, that thing, I know all that thing, etc. But things will happen. Don't worry about that. I will take care of that thing, you see. And Ashwapati says, I am sorry, I am not going to listen to you. I want you to do something about that. And he narrates the history of time, history of the world. I think we can read that to some extent. 90.5, 90.4. Yeah, the section. Ashwapati is replying to the Divine Mother. She had 90.5, 90, okay, 90, you go to the previous one first, 90.4 from that one. Last line of the previous page. Now he is asking the Divine, she has advised him caution and all that kind of a thing, and do my work, everything will be all right. She is telling him, she is aware of the history of mankind. What Savitri's mother has narrated, to some extent, she is fully aware of it. And she is anticipating in that context something from Ashwapati, and she is forewarning him, forget about that, you follow what I am telling you. And she says, but Ashwapati says, heart is the doom to which thou bindest thy soul. Heart is the doom to which thou bindest thy sons. He is telling the Divine Mother, look, you are binding your son to this doom. What kind of mother you are? You see, it is the same thing which Savitri's mother is asking, what kind of God is it yours who has bound us to this calamity? So this thing is exactly similar to what she has said. What kind of God is it? You are Vishnu who has given us this misery. Hard is the tomb to which thou bind thy sons. How long shall our spirits battle with the night? Yes, we have been waging these wars. How long? How long it will go on? Will it go on and on like that? And bear the defeat and the brute yoke of death? We who are vessels of deathless foes and builders of the godhead of the race. Yes, we are the builders of the new race and all that thing. He has got that confidence already. But you are abandoning us to this littleness, you see. How long? And then he says, yeah, 90:12. All we have done is ever still to do. He is briefly tracing what has been done by man so far. All we have done is ever still to do. All breaks and all renews, and it is the same. Nothing has really changed. Nothing has really changed, you see, the whole world. See. Huge revolutions of life's futile gyre. The newborn ages perish like the old. It keeps on repeating. As if the sad enigma kept its right till all is done for which this scene was made. The enigma must exist, as if there is a deeper problem which has to be solved, and therefore the enigma exists, you see. Too little the strength that now with us is born, too faint the light that steals to nature's lids, too scant the joy with which she buys our pain. Yes, she gives a little joy, all right, but she is buying, by that we are buying greater pain. And then he moves on further. Next line, 90:18. In anguish we labor that from us may rise a larger seeing man with nobler heart, a golden vessel of the incarnate truth. That is our hope, that is our aspiration, that is our expectation, that from us may rise a greater man, the executor of the divine attempt, equipped to wear the earthly body of God, communicant and prophet and lover and king. Yes, this is what we expect to happen. And he also is confident that this will happen because I know that thy creation cannot fail. It has to happen. I know that thy creation cannot fail. And then he describes the whole history of mankind. 1927. A giant dance of Shiva to the past. There was a thunder of worlds that fall. Earth was overrun with fire and roar of death. Clamoring to slay a world his hunger had made. There was a clangor of destruction's wings. The Titan's battle cry was in my ear. Alarm and rumor shook the armored night. This is exactly the scene of the fall of Paris, the Second World War. The Mahakali's dance there of destruction. A giant dance, exactly. In fact, these lines were written more or less around that time, in the around 1942 or so. The lines, when this was happening, you see. A giant dance of Shiva to the past. There was a thunder as of worlds that fall. Earth was overrun with fire and a roar of death, clamoring to slay a world his hunger had made. There was a clangor of destruction's wing, etc., etc. Now, so this is a kind of a similar thing she is also asking, more or less. But there is a difference between what Ashwapati is describing and what the queen is describing. In the queen query, she is raising the voice of the earth. She is raising the voice of the earth. Ashwapati is raising the voice of the yogi. He is raising the voice of the yogi there, you see. He is questioning that, you see. She is passionate like earth. She is raising the voice of the earth. She is questioning. Earth's question is there in her speech. Here the question of the yogi who is asking this thing, you see. Why? And he has a solution also there. He has a solution, Ashwapati. He says, yes, this is the history. This is what has been happening through ages and ages and ages. I know that. You also know that, of course. You are fully aware of it also. My solution is that you must come down here yourself and solve the problem. Don't say this. I am not going to listen to that. You have to take the mortal birth, come upon earth, and do whatever is got to be done here for that. That is the solution he is offering, Ashwapati. He is not only describing, he is offering a solution. The solution is, you must take the mortal birth. Come down, mission to earth, some living form of thee. Mission to earth, some living form of thee. That is the solution he is offering to the entire creation's history here. Whereas, in the case of Savitri's mother, she doesn't have a solution. She doesn't have that suggestion at all to make. She is describing, she is questioning. She is questioning, but very true questioning also.
She is questioning why this solution.
Yes, but she has no solution. This man also is seeing all that thing. She is also seeing all that thing. And she's asking a question now. Where from we have come and all that kind of a thing. She has no answer. She has no answer. Her finally what she is saying is, whence rose the call from sorrow and pain? It is kind of a curiosity she is expressing there. That is the human element, human aspect of it, you see. Whereas he is not saying like that. Ashwapati is a different level altogether. He says, yes, I know all these things, you also know these things. And my suggestion is that this can be done, resolved, if only you come here as Savitri.
But he doesn't say what she has to do, only come down on earth and take birth. That alone doesn't solve things either.
Nobody else can do it. You alone can do it.
Yeah, but it implies you have to do something, not just
Yeah, but that's right. He has described, yeah, she will, he has brought the problem to that situation. See. And the whole ground is now prepared for the birth of Savitri. She will do it. In the case of Ashwapati.
Do you mean the birth and the mortal life? It is the solution.
It is?
It is the solution.
Yes. She will come and do whatever is required to be done. What is done? What is that is allowing this to continue? What is that allowing this thing to continue? That is the quintessence of the whole discussion. Even the quiz question is amounting to that thing. Yes, this is like that, this is like that, and it is continuing. What is it that makes it go on like that? Can that be tackled? Can that be tackled? And the answer is death. Life is not able to progress because of death. So, if all these difficulties are here, because of the presence of death, the only solution lies in removing death. That is what Ashwapati is insisting. You have to take care of death. You have to remove death first. Automatically other things will happen. Means the entire history which is there, that will get wiped off. It is because of death.
Directly, Malavi can ask Narad, where is your Vishnu? Bring him down just now. And then he knows that.
No, she is not asking. She is putting a human question.
But that time it's not.
She has no that yogic uh, capacity to see what can really bring the solution. She is not aware that the solution is already there in front of her in the form of her daughter. She is not aware of it. See? The solution is already there. She does not see that, and it is that which Narad will make her realize that look, the solution is in your daughter. To all that, you see. So there is a difference between what the same history is traced in two places in different contexts, and you can see the difference between these two. Here he comes and demands, because of this, I want you to take the mortal birth. In other words, if we are really seeing a true problem, the way the Queen has seen it, she has seen the true problem. There is no doubt about that. We also see that problem also. But we have not built into ourselves the capacity to receive a solution. That is our laziness. That is our lack of sadhana, tapasya, yoga, what you want to call it. That is our incapacity. We see the solution, we see the problem, but to receive the solution to that, we have not prepared ourselves.
ask a question?
Yeah.
So in real life, when now the two avatars came in 1870, I'm not sure when they came. So did they come not because Earth asked them to do? Was there somebody on Earth here who asked them to do, or what did they decide now it's time we should do this? We should prepare the Earth for Superman?
No.
Was it decided by themselves and then they came, or was it really somebody on Earth who pulled them? I mean, now I'm talking about us, about mankind.
No, as far as men are concerned, we don't have any solution at all. No, no, we have absolutely no capacity, no idea, no solution also.
They decided to come.
Yeah, obviously. Rather, they, in the sense that the whole thing had come to a fairly matured point for them to take things forward.
No, it cannot continue otherwise.
No, exactly. If things have to progress, they had to come and take things forward.
It's enough now.
Yeah. But at the same time, it means that if we have to participate, we have to become really aware of that thing. We have to prepare ourselves. You see, we have to prepare ourselves, and that capacity is given to us. That basic stuff is there in us. Our soul is there. If it comes forward, finished. You see, it's finished. You see.
Dr. Aurobindo, he is the avatar. He is not the human being.
Well, but he
He came, I mean, like Ashwapati, he is a yogi.
yeah, but then he had assumed the entire burden, entire ignorance, entire incapacity of man, of mortal being. Without that thing, he cannot experience and take it forward.
Yes. He doesn't know what to do.
But we are like the queen. I mean, we are not the avatar. We are the human being. We can ask this question. We cannot do this.
No, but I will say we are very lucky that we are human beings. We are very lucky in the sense that there is in the sense that there is something very sweet in us which is open to that. If that comes out, no problem at all. Everything will be taken care of then. You see, if that comes out, you see, we are lucky that gift is there, which even the gods don't have.
They don't need it.
They don't. No, we can't say they don't need it. If they want to remain happy in their own world, okay, forget. Same way, it is also true for us. If you want to remain happy in ignorance, mortality, it's all right. But there is something which will not keep us quiet until that thing is found, you see.
No, because but we are suffering. They are not suffering. The gods are not suffering.
We don't know. I think perhaps they are suffering in their own manner. If you get stuck to the same kind of a joy, you see. You see.
They can see it. We cannot see it.
Yeah. Well, basically, they are typal beings. They are frozen things, qualities, and all that thing. Here we have got a continuous progress possible. Continuous progress. That is the gift which we have got because of the psychic which is there in us.
But the gods, they can see how things
Let them see, so, but it doesn't go very far. It doesn't go very far. You see, yeah. In fact, that is the mystery of it. There is a line later on in Savitri which says, "What the white gods had missed." Yes,
that we are working on.
yes,
We are getting the full load.
yes. But there are a couple of things here which are quite important. Now, there is something very interesting here. 107.37. His brief appearance on the enigmatic earth ever recurs, but brings no high result. To this wanderer, to the aeon rings of God, that shut his life in their vast longevity. We are shut in our own life, vast longevity. We are wandering. Now, this is a very beautiful, she is a really learned person, as I was telling you. She has read the Greek mythology very well. This lady, she is little Aeon rings of God. Now, this is a modification. Rings of God is essentially the echo, it is a metaphor of the rings of Pandora. Rings of Pandora. She has turned it into Aeon rings of God. These are the rings of Pandora. And she is describing directly with that. Now, rings of Pandora are the several circular highways that surround the lower levels of Pandora's temple. Pandora's temple and circular highways. Yes. The first ring is just a long circular corridor with a passage that leads to the temple of the crystal eye. First ring will lead to the palace of the crystal eye. There are well, I'm just first describing the thing. By pulling the lever, the rings can rotate to reveal other passages that lead to the challenge of Atlas. That is the second ring, the challenge of Atlas. And the chamber of the god, that is the third ring, which requires both muse keys to open the chamber. So these are the muse who will be able to open the chambers. The second circle is an outer hallway with a giant spiked roller running through it. The central ring is a pool of water that surrounds a giant statue of Zeus. So the statue of Zeus is there and surrounding that. Within the water, there's a tunnel that leads to the challenge of Hades. Down below. Also, there's a wooden ladder that can be found there that goes up to a platform which contains a hallway that leads to challenge of Poseidon. Down below, challenge of Poseidon. Which the only way to reach it is by jumping on the spiked roller and then jumping on the ladder. Spiked roller and jump on that ladder. That's the only way. So these are these several rings. And this hero, Kratos, as Kratos continues completing the various temple challenges as described here, he goes deeper and deeper into the rings until he finally gains access to the innermost ring, drains the water, and aligns all the rings so that a beam can shoot straight through them all from the temple of the crystal eye, granting him passage to the upper levels of the temple. Pardon me? So these are the rings.
How many rings there is?
Seven.
Seven or more?
Yeah, described here. I think five or so from there. Five or so. So here, to wander, to this wanderer through the Aeon rings of God, the ageless rings of God. It is not of Pandora, but of God Himself. Now, we'll just read something as a small passage of the first ring. First ring. Run around this ring hall until you reach the far end of it. See, that's the description. Now, ring by ring, how you go and what you encounter is described. See, where you will find a doorway on the right that leads to a brief obstacle course. You will have to dodge between these slamming spiked walls to make it through alive. You have to push yourself through alive. So wait for them to pull apart and quickly roll past the danger. Inside the next room, is a group of archers on the far side. Take out the archers and gather the items in the room before continuing further. At the back of the room is a tall lever to pull, which reveals a spinning mechanism in the large ring hall. Run back to the hall of obstacles and grab hold of the spinning mechanism. Rotate it counterclockwise for a while. He gives instructions. And you will soon see a new hall appear past the doorway of the left. So another hall like that goes on. So this, well, like that, they had described all the stages till you go into the from this temple to the upper temple, like that. You see, like that. Now, in case you are interested, I will forward. Huh? This is Greek mythology. This is all Greek mythology. Yeah. I told you, no, this lady is very well versed in Ian Ring. Now, but she, she is capitalizing on that mythology and converting into Ian rings of God. The whole cycle, she is talking in terms of divine possibilities which can open out ring after ring. And therefore, this is the enigma at earth. This is the riddle of the earth. The riddle of the earth, passing through that, you see. So she is asking a very deeply studied question, you see, that way. The whole history of mythology is there, you see, already. And then she is asking about the question, whence rose the call for sorrow and pain? No. There is another thing which is making very beautiful once more. Yeah. See? So she was talking about Greek mythology. And when she is describing Greek mythology, she has brought the reference to the rings of Pandora. And that description, Narad could understand. Otherwise, he would not be able to make any head or tail out of it. See what she is speaking of. Every word which she is uttering, he has to understand in order to answer her. And that is what will follow later on. So he has understood the Greek mythological reference to the Greek mythology. Now here is another reference. All is an episode in a meaningless tale. This is what she is summarizing ultimately. This is only a small little incident in a meaningless tale. And she also says, all is an episode in a meaningless tale. She is now referring to Shakespeare, Macbeth. So she has really studied Shakespeare also. And we have the description in the last act of Macbeth, fifth act, when the king finds his wife dead and all that kind of thing and whatnot. Question that thing, you see. So, this is soliloquy of Macbeth. He says, she should have died hereafter. His wife, the queen. She should have died hereafter, not now, later on, before I go away. She has died. It should not have happened. I should have died first. She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow grieves in this petty pace from day to day. She is now seeing the monotony of his life further. He is not able to conquer. To the last level of recorded time, tomorrow, tomorrow, it will keep on repeating. All our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. So what has happened to the past? They have become dusty death. Dusty death. Out, brief candle. He is talking of his life. get quenched, get vanished, get put off. Out, out, brief candle. That is what life is, you see. Life is but a walking shadow. What a beautiful metaphor. Walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frays his art upon the stage. On the stage he comes and walks like a shadow. And then is heard no more. The shadow comes, walks on the stage and disappears. Is heard no more. You see. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Life's shadow walking on the stage goes away, told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. This is what she says also here, no? This is an episode in a meaningless tale. It's a story told by an idiot, you see. That's what she says. Now, there is something interesting also here. So she has really read Macbeth. In Macbeth's final soliloquy, the audience sees his final conclusion about life. This is what she is describing basically. It is devoid of any meaning. Life is devoid of any meaning. See. Full of contrived struggles. Days on this earth are short. A brief candle. It lies for a while and disappears. A brief candle. And an ignorant march towards a fruitless demise. This is exactly what she is voicing. This is exactly what she is voicing. Demise. Lighted fools to dusty death. This is what we come and go away. Dusty death. A person's life is so insubstantial that it is comparable to an actor who fills minor roles in an absurd play. There is a struggle for substance in life. The actor who struts and frays his hour, or a playwright who tells a tale full of sound and fury. He is a playwright who is telling the tale of sound and fury. But it is contrived and senseless and will thus fade into obscurity. It will disappear again. A tale told by an idiot, signifying nothing, in which a walking shadow performs and then is heard no more. A shadow comes on the stage and walks and disappears and finishes. So this is what our life is. She is describing that life to Narad. And poor Narad now has to take care of all that thing, you see. All that thing, you see. Now, I will say something about the metrical aspect of this particular passage. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Very famous passage. And this is what we have got here. She should have died hereafter. She had died before me. She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of record time, and all our yesterday's trace have lighted full the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle, lies but a wading shadow, walking shadow, a poor player just struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Now, the metrical scansion, that is important here. What here? See the very first line. She should have died hereafter. It's a very brief, very powerful, very succinct kind of a line. It sort of quintessences the entire feeling of this frustrated king, Macbeth. She should have died hereafter, after me. There would have been. Now, basically, what this means, this has only 3 feet in this line. All the lines are with 5 feet, pentametric. Shakespeare has put here in this sentence only 3 feet. She should have died thereafter. The scansion, she should, that is talking. I will put it, she should, not she should. She should have died, means trochee, I am. Hereafter, amphibrach. Hereafter means short, long, short. Hereafter, short, long, long. So the metrical device brings a certain kind of power and intensity to the description which is presenting here. And the poet has taken full liberty in departing from his pentametric form of verse by putting only 3 feet here. The shortness, the quickness which is required, he has conveyed in another language of metrical shortness of just 3 feet. The other line, there would have been a time for such a word, 5 feet. Tomorrow, when tomorrow, when tomorrow, again 5 feet. Tomorrow, we say tomorrow. You see the scansion also tomorrow means short, long, short, 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 long, short, 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 long, short. See, tomorrow, when tomorrow, when tomorrow. See, that is the skill of a poet, of an artist, of an inspired artist, how it comes to see. And then again here this line, the way to a dusty death. What a powerful phrase, dusty death. That is what we end with, you see. He is not a yogi, he is not a philosopher, he is not a metaphysician, but the power of life which is there is getting fully expressed in this thing, you see. The way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. He is trying to quench his own life. The candle, his soul, he is burning life. He is blowing it off. He wants to let it go away. Out, out, brief candle. You see. Again, see the powerful, the way to dusty death. Short, long, short, long, short, long. Out, out, long, long. Stress. That is called a spondy. The first 3 are I am. Fourth is a spondy. Brief candle. Brief candle. Again, it is long, long, short. That is called the Bacchic decimeter. It could be also scanned in a different out, out, brief candle. But that will not be so sonorous, you see. The force which comes here, out, out, will not be there in out, out, brief candle. That will get lost. You follow the difference? So the scansion is out of spondy and Bacchic, more appropriate. Now, why I am saying how the metrical skill is employed in conveying the power of the situation, the psychological effect which it produces is completely caught, seized in the metrical form in this passage. Now, in the case of Savitri, we had a very beautiful thing like that, 46.21. He is satisfied with his common average kind, tomorrow's hopes, and his old rounds of thought, his old familiar interests and desires. He has made a thick and narrowing hedge, defending his small life from the invisible. His being's kinship to infinity, he has shut away from him into inmost self. That is the hedge. Fenced off the greatnesses of hidden God. So we have put a hedge and we have fenced off the hidden gods from us, you see. Now, metrically, this line is important. He has made a thick and narrowing hedge. He has made a thick and narrowing hedge. Now, what we have is this line. He has made a thick and narrowing hedge. What the revised edition has is this one. He has made into a thick and narrowing edge. They have put into, they have put into, which is not there at all anywhere. They have done it. They have done yeah. Yeah. Well, now this is what I've said. That is the whole point why I am referring to these things in this context. He has made, see this line, if you read, he has made a thick and narrowing hedge. That is the plain sentence, no problem at all. Metrically, this line scans as he has made a thick and narrowing hedge. That is how it looks. Means he has made a is a trochee, long, short. Thick and narrow. Thick and is again a trochee, second trochee. Third is narrow, that is again a trochee. Means three trochees are coming one after the other in the line here. And then the fourth one is of course an am head. First is basically a peri, short, then three trochees and an am. So the whole idea is here, they say that three trochees in a line is metrically a very bad thing to happen. Shabindu was not attentive to his metrical skill, and that needs to be corrected.
They know better than you.
Of course they know it. They of course know it better. And therefore they say we must insert into. He has made into a thick and narrow. The meter is set right. The meter is set right in the revised edition. Now, what a terrible thing to do. What a terrible. And that is why I have given this example. Shakespeare takes full liberty in making any departure from any metrical. If a certain effect, a certain power has to emerge, he doesn't care about rules of prosody. He puts only 3 feet. You know, if it brings that force and all that, yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, this is what Shakespeare has done. So, they think that Shivandu cannot take liberties the way Shakespeare can take liberties.
Was it
They should correct Shakespeare.
was it
also.
a voluntary mistake or a mistake? Is
The,
it a voluntary
the
change?
actual line is here in his own, in the text. This into is a totally supportless addition in the revised edition. It has no foundation, no. The only argument which is given is three trochees, they are not good from a metrical point of view.
And mainly from who? Amalkiran?
Pardon?
Mainly from Amalkiran?
Amalkiran, of course, this is Amalkiran also. Amalkiran and Richard Hartz. We have fought against this line very much in our meetings. Yeah. This was discussed in a meeting fully. Amalkiran, myself, Nirod Banan, and Richard Hartz.